much. Thank you so much, Johnny, for that beautiful reading. I'm really good at that. Okay, everyone. Well, good morning, everyone. So good to be back here speaking again. My talk today is called The Medicine of Surrender. And it's all about the spiritual principle of surrendering to spirit and trusting that there is divine order in everything. Have you ever noticed when you let go of something or give up and stop trying to figure a problem out, the answer comes to you? This is because intentionally or unintentionally you surrendered. You made space for the divine within you to give you the answer. You got out of the way of your own busy mind, made space, and something higher had room to come in. Spiritual surrender means that you give up having to control outcomes or have things go your way, and you give the situation or your will over to divine will with full trust that the divine has got your back, knows what is in the highest good, not only for you, but for all involved, and will sort out the details for you. And all you have to do is follow your intuitive guidance and take any action steps you are called to take with courage and with faith that Spirit is leading the way. I have found that as I age, for the most part, I feel myself getting happier and happier and lighter and lighter. And many would assume I'm happier nowadays because my life is easier, but the truth is the circumstances of my life have, if anything, gotten more and more challenging. The difference in my overall mood is that I've learned to trust Spirit, even when all hope seems lost or things seem incredibly dark. I have learned that eventually whatever I'm going through will make sense in time and reveal itself to be a blessing. Ultimately, I'm able to more easily surrender to what is because I have an underlying trust that whatever is happening, something good is going to come from the situation. I say to myself all of the time, out of this situation, only good will come. I literally say that like 10 times a day. It does seem to work. Even in times of enormous heartbreak or disappointment, I affirm that out of this situation, something wonderful is going to come. And I have found that if I wait, sometimes waiting years, something wonderful always comes, even from the darkest of situations. And when a situation causes me to desire a specific outcome, I love to say Unity author Catherine Ponder's quote, "This or something better comes forth with perfect timing according to God's rich good for me." This or something better. I think you and I were talking about that last Sunday. Like, it's so powerful, this or something better. By affirming that your desire or something even better is on its way to you in perfect divine timing, you align with the realm of infinite possibilities and truly make way for something even better than you could imagine to come through. This affirmation is extremely powerful and really works wonders. Surrender is trusting that if it's meant to be, it will be. And for me, surrender usually happens when things get so challenging and I get so exhausted from trying to figure something out and so emotionally drained that I finally give up and let go and let God. I'm trying to get better at surrendering before I reach that place of emotional exhaustion, but it takes a lot of practice. And I'm learning to trust Spirit more and more with experience. I don't know if you guys are like that too, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna hang on to this bitterness and problem until I finally just crash and burn. And I'm like, okay. Surrender can also be thought of as becoming present. When you accept the present moment just as it is, you don't judge it, try and control it or change it, or numb yourself out from it, but rather you fully align with each present moment, surrendering and trusting that whatever is happening is meant to be happening. When you are present, you naturally are in a state of calm and inner peace no matter what is happening because you are in acceptance of the moment. The best way I learned how to surrender to the moment and be present was not through spiritual teaching actually, but it was through comedy improv class that I was forced to take by my band members because I was actually a nervous wreck on stage and they were like, this will really help you, and it did. I think everyone should take it. But in comedy improv class, the core principle they teach is called yes and. And in improv, you learn that by responding with acceptance and an inner yes to whatever idea has been thrown your way by the audience or a scene partner or circumstance on stage, and then add to the idea with your own idea, you create magic. It takes a lot of practice, but you eventually learn to stop being in your head and to just allow each moment to unfold by saying yes to whatever is happening and aligning fully with it, so much so that you find yourself just saying things that you had no time to think about, and somehow the audience laughs and everything just magically flows. I have found that when I practice presence as much as possible, I align more with spirit, as spirit is really only ever found in each present moment. I have found that there are so many more synchronicities when you have an inner sense of surrender to each present moment, because you have trust that there is divine order in everything. I think people hear the spiritual concept of surrendering to what is and assume it means simply giving up on life and just passively accepting whatever happens, no matter how much you don't particularly like it. I used to think that's what it meant as well. I remember thinking, okay, I've been trying this whole surrendering and being a spiritual person thing, but it is so boring. I am an artist and a musician, and I have big, huge, juicy desires, and I can't just be some monk and wear beige and feel all beige all the time. I feel emotions. I love to have desires. I love to love certain things and not love certain things. I love to be discerning and to want what I want and to take the rainbow-colored paintbrush of my spirit and paint a wildlife of color on the canvas that is my life. I'm so happy I've discovered that surrendering is the opposite of living a boring life. Surrendering is not a numbing out of life or taking the back seat and not participating in the co-creation of your life. And it certainly is not letting go of dreams and desires. Surrender is a dance with spirit, is a total trust in spirit, and a full participation in your own creative intentions to experience whatever life causes you to desire, by aligning to your connection with God within and going with the flow of the divine substance that is everywhere present and in everything present in your life. Surrender sounds like giving up. It sounds like losing. It sounds like waving the white flag and saying, I can't do this. But that's not the spiritual surrender to the divine. In truth, surrender is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is not resignation. Surrender, in a spiritual sense, is a conscious release of resistance. It is a willingness to stop fighting life and begin flowing with it. In unity, we affirm that there is one presence and one power active in all of life, a divine intelligence, a loving order, a wisdom that is always unfolding, and surrender is how we align ourselves with that. Not by stepping out of life, but by stepping into deeper partnership with it. And this practice has worked for me consistently throughout the years. I have had really amazing things happen to me by surrendering and trusting in the divine flow of things, and by knowing that out of this situation, only good will come. When I say that affirmation to myself, I open myself to the possibility, the field of limitless possibilities that exists. I open my energy and my thinking to the infinite realm of unseen potentialities. I align myself to the truth of spirit, which is endlessly and limitlessly creative and good and loving. From that energy, time collapses, and things others view as impossible become easy and natural and possible, and then real. For instance, years ago, my band had just gotten signed to a record label. It then ended up folding just before they put us into the studio to record our album. It was such a heartbreak. We had prepared all the songs, but now had no money to record them. Well, shortly after the label folded, we got asked to submit a cover song for a big national commercial. It was that song, Under the Milky Way Tonight. You know that song?
The church.
The church. It was that song. So we got asked to do a cover of that song. We went to the studio and recorded our best cover of the church song and submitted it to the casting agency. Several bands submitted, and we got news that we made it to the final two bands. It was between us and one other band. So we couldn't help but feel so excited. We all felt this opportunity could be the way to get us the money we needed to record our album. Well, we got the news they went with the other band, and we were, of course, really sad we didn't get the commercial. Although I was disappointed, I knew that the experience was valuable, as it caused me to desire to have one of our songs in a big commercial. So instead of wasting my time being sad about not getting that commercial, I surrendered to the flow of my desire and allowed myself to get ridiculously delusional and excited about the possibility of having our song in a huge commercial. My band thought I was losing my mind. I kept affirming, I'm so excited for our big paycheck to come in from the massive commercial we are going to land. And they would say things like, you are living in a fantasy, Sarah. Don't get your hopes up, as you will just be disappointed. This industry is saturated with bands trying to get big placements. We are small, and a major commercial is impossible. For them, surrender looked like giving up and not thinking about song placements anymore, which is a totally great way to surrender. But for me, in that circumstance, surrender was a mix of letting go of the disappointment, not dwelling on it, but also aligning with the field of possibilities and knowing that my desires are in my heart for a reason, and that the universe is abundant, and that the perfect opportunity is on its way, and that I accept my good. I didn't sit around and wait for it, or complain, or wonder where the hell's my big commercial. I just went on with my days, enjoying making music and living daily life with total trust and affirmation. And I really felt, I'm not kidding, there was no place in my mind where I didn't feel it was a certainty. It was like, I was just like fixated. I just kept saying a big commercial placement or something even better so that we can record our album is coming in perfect timing. Well, about 6 months went by, and I did not waver in my belief. I didn't feel sad or cry about where it was. I didn't want to change my affirmative stance that I knew it was coming. I didn't let anyone say, I told you so. I simply knew it was on its way, and I was totally real in the unseen realm and would be a reality in perfect timing. Well, one day, out of the blue sky, our manager said that he met a major commercial casting agent and slipped him a recording of a music video we did. The casting agent happened to be working on a Samsung phone commercial that was being done by Leo Burnett, one of the biggest commercial agencies in the US. The head of Leo Burnett was turning down every video he saw by really big bands, saying it just wasn't the right vibe for his vision for the commercial. Then my band's video came through the submissions, and he said, oh yes, this band has the right sound and look. This is my vision for the spot. And we were cast immediately. And we not only secured a song placement, but we were featured playing our song on a major national commercial. The affirmation I had used on repeat of this or something better comes to me now eventually did come, and it was so much better. Not only was it our own song that was placed in a commercial, we were physically in it. For the cover song opportunity, the original opportunity, we would have gotten a few $1,000s. But for the commercial use of our own song, plus being in the commercial, we each received several $1,000s individually, and our band as a whole received thousands of dollars. Enough money to fund our own next album, several tours, new music equipment, and so much more. Yeah, it works. It does work. Yeah, I wish it was on YouTube, but I just have a physical recording of it. I'll have to show it to you guys someday. Yeah. It's a Samsung cell phone commercial, and I'm like sitting there going, and I'm like on stage playing. But it was a big chunk of change. Okay, most importantly, that experience taught me to think and dream big, and that God is abundant, and that we absolutely co-create reality with the divine, and that our words, thoughts, feelings, and intentions are magical, that we are all alchemists, and we are, each and every one of us, painters with a paintbrush, creating on the canvas of our lives. We don't have to force anything or figure anything out or manipulate or control. Rather, we can let go, trust in our higher power, and surrender to the flow of our lives, knowing that whatever we are going through is causing a solution to be born in the unseen substance of infinite potential. And we can align with that solution and dream big and let God lead the way with perfect timing to the unfolding of our desires. The experience also reminds me not to judge any circumstance as good or bad. When we didn't get the cover song commercial placement, I could have easily judged that experience as negative. But the experience of losing that opportunity led me to imagine that it would even be possible to land our song in a national commercial. I never would have imagined that specific opportunity with such fervor and with such belief that it was possible had the first smaller opportunity come through. Our band may have never gotten the money to record our album, and so much more had the first failure of an opportunity come through. So it ended up being a good thing. So how do you know it's good or bad? No, it's true. Spiritual surrender is to look at every experience as neither good nor bad, but rather as in divine order. Every experience is either teaching you something or giving you an opportunity to grow or causing a desire to be born within you and giving you the opportunity to align with something even better than you could have previously envisioned for yourself. And as much as I believe life gets truly better and better the more you learn to surrender and have full trust in Spirit, God, whatever you would like to call it, I also believe it is all about balance and that we are alive to feel the ups and downs of life, as our emotions cause us to dream, to have desires, to experience the seasons of birth, growth, death, and renewal again and again, to create, to live, to cry, to laugh, to experience ourselves, each as God created us to be, each with our own unique perspective and personality and talents and energy. My commercial example was a time when I surrendered to my desire and it came into glorious manifestation. But there have been other times when things I desired never came to pass, or at least not yet. I also had to surrender to those unfulfilled wishes. Sometimes, actually most of the time, surrender looks like fully letting go of your plans and trusting that God has a much better plan that ultimately is for your highest good and highest joy. There have been many experiences that I wanted. So many romantic relationships, for instance, where it didn't happen the way I had wished, but looking back, thank God it didn't work out with that person. Surrender is having faith that this desire or something even better will manifest in God's perfect timing, as Spirit has got your back, knows you deeply, deeply, and wants only what's best for you individually. Having this underlying faith and trust in your higher power truly sets you free. The commercial was also an easy example of surrendering a disappointing experience and turning lemons into lemonade through aligned thinking. But there have been tremendously heartbreaking experiences I have gone through. And those experiences were so much more challenging to simply just surrender to at the time. So many times I felt like a victim of life's circumstances. And for years, I thought God maybe really disliked me, or just didn't have any time for me, or just didn't see me, I was just too little or something. There were many times it seemed totally out of any kind of divine order that I would be dealing with so much chaos. Nothing about what I was living seemed for my highest good. But in time, all of those experiences, while really challenging to go through, turned out to be my life's greatest gifts, as they made me an artist, and a deeply spiritual person, and most of all, they made me strong, loving, compassionate, and extremely aligned with happiness and presence. I do not take a moment of life for granted, and it's because of all the crap I went through. I'm sure you all can relate to. I recently came across this poem called The Medicine of Surrender by modern-day poet Rosemary Watola Trummer, which I just find very beautiful. I gotta read it. The medicine of surrender comes with no spoonful of sugar, no promises, no backup plans, no returns, no insurance. The medicine of surrender never tastes the way you expect. Never tastes the same next time, seldom has the hoped-for effect. And if there were some part of you that thought it might not be affected, that thought it might hold back, that part is most likely the first part to be flooded with the relentless truth of what is. Oh, surrender, the surest medicine that exists. There are infinite side effects. Wonder, freedom, rawness. It's like opening the dictionary to the word heaven or obliteration and knowing it's the same thing. It's like playing spin the bottle with life and you French kiss whatever you get. It's the only remedy that can help you be whole, the only real medicine there is. Love that poem. really admire poets. I'm a songwriter, but words are the hardest part for me. And I was like, how do people put words together so beautifully? It just blows my mind. It is through the ups and downs of living that we grow, become more fully human, decide who we are and what we want to create and experience. Spiritual surrender shows us that all of our experiences are divinely ordained gifts. The more we practice trust in God, the more we learn how to co-create a life that has more and more triumph and good, and where the inevitable losses of life feel less and less like negatives and more like gifts, because we know that the experience of the perceived loss will launch us into our greatest comeback or our greatest personal growth or our most delicious receiving of our good and our success. Something beautiful happens when you surrender to things not going the way you had planned or had hoped. It is like God gets to come through. When you just stop resisting what is, you give up the struggle and the fight, you let go and make room for the divine to come in and take over. Something beautiful happens to the human heart when you surrender to life, to the messiness and mud of life, the mix of rain and dirt and sunshine, to all the experiences of it. It opens your heart. It makes you more compassionate and soft, more present and more wholly human. Allow your heart to feel the truth about what you feel in any given situation, and then turn your heart over to the divine and trust that out of this situation, something even better than what you can imagine is on its way in perfect and divine timing. And affirm to yourself that no matter what is occurring in your life, you are safe and all is well. This kind of surrender sets you free totally. It totally sets you free and lightens your energy. There are so many possibilities before us. Let's live in them together as we each surrender to the power of love that is God, that is you, me, all of us. As we release into the flow of the divine creation of our rich good and God's perfect timing. Anything is possible. This or something even better is on its way. And God knows the right way and what is ultimately best and what we each want in our hearts. Amen. Thank you so much.